Welcome to the Industrial Talk Podcast with Scott MacKenzie. Scott is a passionate industry professional dedicated to transferring cutting-edge, industry-focused innovations and trends while highlighting the men and women who keep the world moving. So put on your hard hat, grab your work boots, and let's go.
All right, once again, welcome to Industrial Talk, the leader in industrial podcasting. We are number one, numero uno, the biggest in the universe. Yeah, all backed up by data, Bert. And we are broadcasting here on PowerGen in Dallas, Texas. And it is a great event. And if you're in the power business or thinking about getting in the power business, you need to, or the fuel business, you need to be here. You get to talk to great people like Bert. He's with the Propane Education Research Council. It's a mouthful, but you need to know about it. Let's get cracking. Sorry for saying petroleum. It is a petroleum product.
It's a byproduct of natural gas, absolutely.
Yeah, see? You having a good conference?
It's been really good.
Yeah?
It's been busy, good meetings, good.
Every time I go up to your booth, I'm always like waiting in line, waiting for somebody to give me attention. But no, nobody's in a rush. Everybody's dealing with business. That's cool.
The nature of the beast.
It is. So, for the listener out there, Bert, give us a little background on who you are.
Sure. My name is Bert Warner. I'm the Director of Commercial Business Development for the Propane. Hell, you got me.
See, I got you. Hey!
Propane Education and Research Council, commonly referred to as PERC. This makes it a little easier.
Yeah, thank you.
And so I've been tasked with growing propane use in the commercial segment, particularly in power generation and methods that way, so we can look at this challenge we face currently with our energy crisis, because it is a crisis we have right now.
I think people don't know.
No, and it's happening every day. Our hunger is much greater than our supply right now, and every day it's becoming more tenuous, I think. So we want to keep propane in the conversation as a viable energy that is to be thought of, because our whole thing is we need a responsible diversity when it comes to. We need it all. We need energy. We need electric. We need natural gas and hydrogen and propane. We need everything to feed our need as we go.
Oh yeah.
And so we just want to make sure propane stays in that conversation.
How do we see? I feel like we're behind.
Yeah.
It's like here's this demand for power. Need power. Need more power. More power. And it doesn't seem that we're making any inroads. Well, I guess we are.
We are. I just think as a society, we're too based on reaction instead of being proactive. And so now we've got this problem. Yeah. Now we're trying to deal with it as quickly as we can. And so, and we're trying. And luckily, we're trying to get outside of the box on how do we solve it, because we can't do business as usual and have an expectation that everything's going to be all right. So we need to do things differently and look at different options and different fuels and different technologies, because it all has to work together to get us to where we need to go.
What is that niche that propane fits? We have a lot of conversations around the other types of fuels, right? And where does propane shine?
Well, I think in a couple ways. Probably the first is its abundance. So I'll throw some crazy numbers at you. I bet that it was shocking to me when I first heard. So
whack me out.
40 billion gallons of propane are extracted from the U.S. We only use 10. We export 30 billion gallons outside of the U.S. So in the U.S. we use 10. And how that breaks down, even more specifically, 5 billion goes to the residential segment. Okay, 10 billion to the commercial industrial, and the remaining 3 billion is split between agriculture, like farms and things, material handling, like ports, and then auto gas, fleets and school buses and things like that. So we've got more than we ever use. And so I think the abundance of it, it's such a green energy compared to the national average of the electric grid. So there's green aspects, there's abundancy, but the big one to me is the resiliency. We can take energy to your door. Wherever you need it, we can put it. And I think as cities grow and the demand grows, gas lines are only so long. Substation and distribution lines are only so long. So when you get beyond that, it can get incredibly costly to bring that infrastructure up. Or you can look at options like propane to fit your power needs beyond that. And I think that's where it fits. And it's been around forever. If we don't use it, it's going to waste. It's a byproduct of natural gas extraction. And so still 65% of our electricity comes from coal and natural gas now. So that's why we have so much, because that number's not going to go down either. As much as people would like it to, it's going to still stay well above until nuclear really takes hold. Wind and solar are so iffy,
Yeah,
so
and when
tough.
we start talking, and again, I'm pretty bullish on nuclear too. I mean, it's going to have to be a part of the conversation, no doubt about it. But do I think that we have the resolve to be able to sort of venture in? I don't know.
Not anytime soon.
Again, like you said, we tend to be more reactionary as opposed to proactive, but then you blew me away with the abundance.
Yeah.
And for the neophyte out there, aka me, how do I get propane? How do I get it? Like from natural gas? What's the refining process?
So it is part of that extraction process. It is done at an upstream level, but it'll trickle down to you like you would normally how you get your electricity or how you maybe get oil delivered. You literally would have a propane marketer in your area that would deliver propane to you on a residential scale all the way up through agriculture and commercial. Depending on what your load is, if it's small or large, you're going to have tanks or systems or communities. If you're going to do a whole bunch, there's a variety. That's the flexibility is also how it's so attractive. You can do really whatever you want, whenever you want with it. And it's, it doesn't have, it gets lumped in a lot of times with diesel as far as, being this portable energy. I'm going to call it that. But it's a lot greener. It's a lot more affordable, and it doesn't need the maintenance that, a diesel, the upkeep that a diesel system would need. And I think it prolongs the life of the equipment as well. So if you look at it, and I think the default thought always with portable energy is diesel, almost automatically, just because it's like the Coca-Cola. Yeah, you just think of a diesel backup generator, whatever it is. But I think we're making inroads with it because people are talking about energy now. We're talking about decarbonization and things. That wasn't happening 5-10 years ago. Now it is. So we're going to have the conversation. Let's have it.
See, here's the funny thing about decarbonizing, right? We have such a demand for power. Yeah, I don't know how you balance the efforts to decarbonize and satisfy the demands of the market, given what we think, what projections are happening. So can you expand upon that? How do we do that?
Yeah, I think that's where what I call responsible energy diversification comes into play.
Yeah.
In that, yes, we have this high demand, but we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot to meet that demand. So we need to do it in a smart manner. So looking at propane or these other technologies that have the lower carbon footprints. So yes, it's a fossil fuel, but it's got a lower number than what traditional is. So yes, you're continuing to use propane, but now our intensity is dropped. That's decarbonizing. Going from 100 to 0 is decarbonizing. So is 50. If we go from 100 to 50 or 100 to 50, we're cutting our number in half. We're working in the right way. It doesn't have to be a zero number for us to move the needle. And so that's how I think we can do this and still satisfy our need. But we're going to need more help. That's why we need these different energies. We need smart people to keep developing things, technologies, and looking at different fuel sources to help us along this path.
How do you, let's say I want to retrofit. Is it difficult to say, hey, I'm ready to switch fuel? I'm not into diesel. I'm into propane. Is that journey from from one fuel source to another difficult with propane?
No, I don't think so. Not at all. Because again, you're going to bring your own system in, and so really, I don't consider it fuel switching. I could say maybe you're wanting grid independence. You know, I want to control my own energy, as opposed to having it dictated to me. Therefore, I can build my own system. So you're going to bring in tanks, and you're literally going to pipe it into your normal system like your gas line is now. So we're really not reinventing the wheel. It's just the source is different.
Okay.
I know I'm throwing a lot at you. I get it.
No. I'm perfectly capable of being able to handle all this incredible information. From a BTU perspective, let's say I have natural gas, whatever that rate, it's natural gas. How does that compare? How does propane, natural gas, what?
A BTU is BTU.
Yeah.
So whether it's natural gas, whether it's propane, or if it's an electric kilowatt, we got to convert to a BTU. The value is the same. It's really is what's the cost of your energy. I think that's where people think about efficiencies and so how much energy am I getting for what am I paying for? Right. That's really what efficiency is.
That's exactly correct.
And so it's right in line. It's not like we're not sacrificing one to get to the other. Propane is as competitive in many markets with natural gas, and in most markets it's a lot more competitive than electric. I'm an Indiana boy. I have the highest electric in the state of Indiana. I'm at 17 cents a kilowatt in my market, and I'm a little bitty town. In a market where it's 17 cents a kilowatt, and my propane rate is, I can't remember what it is in per gallon. It's very favorable in my market to run propane as opposed to electricity. Now, natural gas may be a hair under, but not enough that it would make a big difference. And the nice thing is I control my rate. I can set my, I know how much I'm buying. I know what the price is. With a utility, you open up your envelope every month and you're guessing. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And so especially in July and August, you're just hoping it's under X dollars. Yeah. If you feel like you won. A crazy thing, and I got an email last week from my utility talking about what they're doing to beef up the grid, because we know there's struggles.
You have to do that.
So the first paragraph was all the things they're doing to make the grid better, and then the second paragraph, what it means to me. Oh, increased resiliency, whatever, and it's only going to be $26 more per month to do that. Not my rate even. I'm talking about just a flat 26
There's
bucks
a line item
on
that
top.
says 26.
Yeah, so
pretty happy about that?
No, not really. No, but that's the thing we do. We seem like we ignore the economics in these conversations.
Yeah.
We talk about the decarbonization, the green aspect, but nobody talks about the how and the effect.
Oh no, I agree with you 100%. Now, where do you see it going? What's that sort of that crystal ball? What gets you excited?
I think for me, greater education is really what gets me excited, because not enough people look beyond the outlet. They see it in the wall. It's magic. It just shows up. In Indiana, we're a coal state. They don't. So when I pull up at a stoplight next to a Tesla, it's a coal-fired Tesla.
Oh, it is.
Okay, and I think that lack of education of where this energy is coming from. To me, if I had a crystal ball and could wave it, and you need to understand how this works. And that takes a lot for granted. But I think the more people that understand it, they can act more responsibly and make those decisions on their own now, instead of just assuming or guessing or believing the rhetoric that's coming.
There you go. It's PERC. That's what we do. Yeah, Propane Education Research Council.
Yeah,
got it,
did perfect.
I got it.
You've been practicing.
I just put down PERC, and then I can remember the acronym. Fortunately for me.
That's right.
So, how do people get a hold? Let's say they're interested in finding out more. What's the best way?
We've made the website incredibly complicated.
Good.
Propane.com.
Good.
You can find out so much information. Visit propane.com. You can find my email. I'll talk to you, and we can go from there.
Are you out on LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, of course. Bert Warner.
There it is. All right. That's Bert.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Propane Education Research Council. This is the organization. Go out to propane.com, right? Propane.com. Find out more. You need people like Bert. He won't let you down. All right, once again, we're broadcasting from PowerGen here in Dallas, Texas, and it is a collection of individuals like Bert and then some where they're just passionate about your success. We're going to have it again. All the contact for Bert out on Industrial Talk. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Industrial Talk Podcast Network.
All right, that was PowerGen. PowerGen, Dallas, Texas. And if you want to be in a profession that has a bright future, a powerful future, you need to look into anything that is associated with generating power. The demand is out there, and it's only going to increase. You get to work with people like Bert, you know? Propane Education Research Council. There are incredible people out there. If you hadn't been at that event, I highly recommend, because you can just walk around and you can have these conversations with individuals that are really, really blazing a trail in satisfying the demands, the power demands of the market. Big time. It's all cool. All right, if you have a podcast, if you have a story to tell, if you have technology, you need to contact me. Go out to industrialtalk.com and just have a conversation. Be bold, be brave, dare greatly. Hang out with Bert, and you're going to change the world. We're going to have another great conversation shortly, so stay tuned.